Entry for girls and women banned, either in groups or all alone. Posters outside the iconic Jama Masjid in Delhi. Diktat leads to widespread outrage.
जितना हक एक पुरुष का इबादत करने का है, उतना ही हक एक महिला का भी इबादत करने का है. कोई भी संविधान के ऊपर नहीं है.
The explanation even more bizarre.
आप फैमिलीज के साथ आए, कोई पाबंदी नहीं है, लेकिन किसी को टाइम देके यहाँ आना, इसको मीटिंग पॉइंट बना लेना, ये किसी भी धर्म स्थल के लिए मुनासिब नहीं है.
The 17th century Mughal era monument attracting devout and tourists in midst of massive controversy. Orthodox, regressive, patriarchal diktat top focus on To The Point this evening. Well, the administration of the Delhi's iconic Jama Masjid put up notices outside its all three main gates, banning the entry of girls or women, a group, whether alone or in groups. Now, the new issue diktat states that in order to gain access to the Jama Masjid complex, women need to be accompanied by a male member. Now, what is coming in? Source-based, because nothing coming in from the Jama Masjid, but source-based information that under huge pressure and obvious backlash, the Jama Masjid has taken back this order, this diktat. This is all up to sources, no official communique right now. But here's more.
The historic Jama Masjid in New Delhi, one of India's largest mosques, is now out of bounds for women who are not accompanied by men. The Masjid administration has placed signboards outside the mosque informing visitors about the new restrictions. Defending the order, the Masjid administration claims women shoot videos for social media which disturbs those offering namaz.
महिलाओं पे रोक नहीं लगाई गई है. जो अकेली लड़कियां यहाँ आती हैं, लड़कों को टाइम देती हैं, यहाँ आके गलत हरकतें होती हैं, वीडियोस बनाई जाती है, सिर्फ उस चीज को रोकने के लिए इस पे पाबंदी लगाई गई है.
The Jama Masjid order has triggered outrage.
In our Islam, it's never allowed, and it's authentic as per Hadith as well, where we have been told that accompany your woman at night if she wants to go to masjid. So I don't think it's appropriate or it's the right decision to ban a woman going to masjid.
You cannot control someone if they want to offer salah, they want to do good deeds. You cannot stop them from coming to the masjid and all that.
The Delhi Commission for Women has issued a notice to Jama Masjid Shahi Imam Bukhari over the new diktat. The DCW chief described the order as a Talibani diktat.
जितना हक एक पुरुष का इबादत करने का है, उतना ही हक एक महिला का भी इबादत करने का है. कोई भी संविधान के ऊपर नहीं है. इस तालिबानी हरकत के लिए दिल्ली के जामा मस्जिद के शाही इमाम को हमने नोटिस इशू करा है. ये जो बैन इन्होंने कल लगाया है, इसको हर हाल में हटवा के रहेंगे.
Ironically, the Jama Masjid restrictions come at a time when Saudi Arabia has allowed women to perform Hajj unaccompanied by male guardian. Bureau Report, India Today.
So after these three posters came up in all three gates, what's also happened, like you saw, was a heavy backlash from various quarters of the society. What's happened now is that the order has been taken back. Nothing coming in officially, but that's the word that we are getting in source-based word, viewers. But I want you all to think about and hark back on what happened during Sabrimala protest. Because there was a huge section which said that women should be allowed to worship at Sabrimala. And then there was a huge backlash again, both ways, which criticized those who were protesting that women should be allowed to enter, and those who said that no, religion needs to be respected. If we are talking about patriarchy, misogyny, orthodoxy, then shouldn't this order be viewed in the same context? Because if you spoke then and are silent now, you're a hypocrite. But if you're silent now and if you're speaking now, but you were silent then, you're a hypocrite too. Let's cut across right now to our panelists. Zakia Soman, women rights activist, Syed Abbas, political analyst, Rahul Iswar would be joining us very shortly from now. Ms. Soman, I just want you to maybe elaborate for our viewers who don't have a better understanding of Islam. Was this order true to the tenets of Islam?
Not at all, Preeti. This is what has happened today. The Jama Masjid Diktat is something which comes very naturally to them, and they think that banning women from places of worship, banning women from going out of the homes, banning women from workplaces, banning women is the solution to all the ills of the world in their, I should say, patriarchal, orthodox, and idiotic mindsets. So places of worship are equally open to all who are the believers. It can be men, women, girls, boys, people of all genders. And Jama Masjid is also a public place. And a public place has to follow certain norms. Just because you are in charge of the Jama Masjid Trust, it doesn't mean that you are entitled to arbitrary rules, which you bring out of your own misogynist and orthodox mindset. That is just not acceptable. You remember, Preeti, some years ago, we fought a legal fight against women's entry being banned in Haji Ali. And
Yes.
we won the matter in the High Court as well as in the Supreme Court. But I guess some of these men of religion who are really conservative and who are really misogynist in their outlook and in their practice do not seem to, learn the lesson that this kind of behavior, this kind of diktats that they're coming out with are laughable and ridiculous, to say the least. Apart from it being wrong religiously speaking, it is also wrong constitutionally speaking, because Muslim women or Hindu women or all women are also, besides being Muslims or Hindus or Parsis or Christians, they are also citizens of India. So Constitution also gives them equal rights and protection against discrimination of any kind. So I think this kind of a diktat is a very arbitrary measure, and I really hope that it's true that they have withdrawn it. Otherwise they'll make themselves, once again they'll make a laughing stock of themselves.
Syed Abbas, you tend to believe that this is as per your religion and Zakia's religion, Islam. Why is it that you read your religion very differently than what Zakia says? Why do you say that it is correct with what this order went on to suggest?
Preeti ji, firstly, I truly believe that the best way to look at Islam is the practice where women, men come together at the Holy Kaaba, the holiest place in accordance with the Muslim. Well, if namaz could be read there, if all of them could come together there without any bias, I don't see any ban coming through here. Also, as a matter of fact, Buhari Sahab must have taken a note or a leaf from what we see at the Kaaba, where both men, women, on equal basis, on equality, are provided the platform to preach. That is what I believe, Preeti ji. Also, as a matter of fact, where I would probably stand aside and look at it on a different prism is that a place like a Gurudwara or a mosque or a church or a temple is a place of worship. What probably the PRO of Jama Masjid could have done differently, instead of a ban or restriction, have volunteers there, allow the people to do what they want, but outside the premises, if people want to play music,
but Syed Abbas,
videos,
I just want you to simplify and tell us. I just want, instead of going into so much jargon, I want you to just simplify and tell us what is your stand. Was it correct that these posters were put forth because it was in tune with your religion? Because that's what you seemingly suggested earlier.
Preeti ji, I've been very categorical in my stand. When the Holy Kaaba, the Makkah, the holiest place in the world for Muslims, has allowed men and women to practice and preach religion, where is the need for Jama Masjid to come out with such a ban? I think that is an epitome of religious worship. We need to take a leaf out of the same. Also, as a matter of fact, what I'm trying to say here, every place of worship has its dignity and decorum, where we wouldn't like to sing, dance, or do anything inside the premises of a temple, mosque, or a Gurudwara. Likewise, outside the premises, I think videos, music, all of that should be allowed.
Okay, well, Syed Abbas, I'm glad you've changed your mind, because I believe you told our producer something entirely different before you joined the debate. That you were actually pro the ban on women. So I'm glad you've changed your mind before you come into the show.
No, Preeti, that is false. Can you present a proof, please? I did not even have a word with that.
Sir, look at your Twitter timeline. Okay,
this.
having said that, look at your Twitter timeline.
Okay,
I got it. I'm glad that you feel this way.
Apology for this.
Sir, I am glad that you feel this way. Okay. I want to cut across to Rahul Easwar right now. Rahul Easwar, there's another big question in all of this, because yes, we should all get together, and I'd like to know what your views are on this, Rahul Easwar. How do you see, first I just want to ask you, Rahul Easwar, where do you stand on women being allowed inside the Jama Masjid or not?
Preeti ji, 2 points. One, the PR of Jama Masjid had a very valid point, and I humbly disagree with Sakia ma'am. No place of worship is a public place. Please remember, temple is not a public place, neither is a mosque public place. These are private place or private space of the deity and the devotee or the particular religion. This is not like a park, this is not like a pool, this is not like anyone owned by the government or the public. So let us make a categorical distinction that no mandir, masjid, gurudwara or church is a public place. They are for devotees. Second point, there needs to be some rules and regulation regarding this. Even from morning when I participate in various debates, I know I am a religious conservative myself. I am an Orthodox Hindu or a conservative Hindu myself. I have been in jail for the Sabrimala protest for nearly half a month. So I understand the sentiments of our Muslim brothers. But we would humbly urge them, and I appreciate them for taking this order back, because it has been badly articulated. Their intentions may have been good, because no temple, masjid or gurudwara or church should be used as place for TikTok videos, place for fun and picnic. Yes, they are tourist and heritage spots, but beyond that there is a spiritual in-depth sanctity for these sites. These sites cannot be merely considered as tourist spots, cannot be considered as TikTok spots. So as a conservative, we attach some sort of divinity and sanctity to the place. But Jama Masjid should have articulated in such a way. I stand with Jama Masjid in their rules and regulations, but they could have articulated it better. They could have highlighted in a better manner. And for sure, no male, female should be able to, neither male nor female should be able to take such fun videos.
Rahul Easwar, I want to ask you one question, and I want to bring in Zakia as well into this conversation, and that I derive from what happened during Sabrimala. You've been a part of Sabrimala, where you staunchly stood by the fact that women should not be allowed in Sabrimala. So in principle, when there is a huge set which believes that women should not enter Jama Masjid, you would agree with them, wouldn't you? Because if you don't agree with them, then why would anyone agree with your stand?
Yeah, exactly. 2 points. One, in Sabrimala, lakhs of women do come, but there is only an age regulation for young women. Even from that time, we have been requesting government and courts, honorable courts, that Article 25 and 26 give right to the Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Parsis, Jains and Buddhists to run their places of worship according to the rules and regulations of those particular faiths. If there are any objections, yes, we can debate. We can respectfully debate and disengage. But
so you don't stand by Rahul Easwar, so you don't quite stand by the tenet of, what we are talking about, which is equality, the tenets of going against the grain of misogyny, where we talk about patriarchy. That is not of your concern.
There is no misogyny involved, but I am proud to say that I am not a progressive, neither am I liberal. I am a conservative Hindu and I respect conservative Orthodox Muslims, but I would respectfully request them, we should engage with the mainstream society and we should articulate in a better way. Their articulation was wrong. They could have easily said nobody should be used it frivolously, neither male nor female. If a male is taking a very nonsensical, funny video on the premise of Jama Masjid, that is equally wrong. But they have articulated it wrong.
Zakia,
their intentions may not be wrong.
Right. Zakia, would you think that it was the intention which was wrong? They really didn't mean to suggest that women or groups of girls or women should not be allowed to enter Jama Masjid. Their intentions were right, but they got it wrong in terms of the language of it.
See, the question is about the mindsets. But before coming to that, Preeti, with your permission, I would like to say that I disagree with Rahul, because several places of worship are administered by charitable trusts which are registered under the Public Charitable Trust Act. And they are places of worship. They belong to devotees, no doubt. But who are the devotees? The devotees are the public. So any believer or any devout who believes in Allah and goes to mosque to offer a namaz is a devout, and he or she are also members of the public. Here the problem is that even if videography was happening or some kind of behavior was taking place which is unacceptable in a place of worship, how did the Jama Masjid Trust arrive at the conclusion that women are to be blamed for that? And how did they sort of make it bold to ban women And by blaming the women, as though by banning women from coming alone, the acts of videography or something else that the spokesperson was saying, that, you know, young people talking and meeting each other, how do you decide, how do you put the blame on women always? So that's the problem. That's a question of mindset, because Rahul Ishwar again may not agree, but a lot of men of religion are of the mindset that they have the sole prerogative over religion, over administering religious places, and they are very clear in their minds that women have no place there. So this is a misogynist mindset, Preeti. The misogynist mindset that you were referring to is illustrated here. Because there, even as I grant that there may be problems in administering the place of worship, which is a public place, how do you come to the conclusion that women are at the root of those problems, and by banning them you feel that you will be able to resolve that problem? So it's a question of a mindset, and this is a very discriminatory mindset. It goes against the basic tenets of our religion. It also goes against the principles of the Constitution. So there is a big problem. You know, religion, God has created men and women both. How do the men of the world, religious men of the world, decide that God has created them more equal than the women? Who gave them this authority to decide? So this is not acceptable. This logic put further that the men of religion are entitled solely and to frame all the rules and bar women from places of worship, this logic is not acceptable. This logic is not acceptable to believing women. I'm talking as a believing woman. I'm not talking as a secular feminist here.
Well, you know, I would think, I get what you're saying, but Zakia, you know, somewhere down the line, it's okay to be a believer and a secular and a feminist with that. Yes, and I'm sad that you actually have to define that line, you know, right now. But Rahul Ishwar, you wanted to come in. Go ahead. What is it that you have to say?
Just one quick submission. I am a male rights activist. I am a believing conservative person. But at the same point of time, I agree with Sakia ma'am. Yes, there has been strands of male chauvinism in belief. Yes, we need to guard against this. No, God has created both male and female, and they should have equal respect and dignity. At the same point of time, every religion has very nuances in practices. Unless we go into it, we won't get the gist of it. For example, in Shabarimala, there is only young woman regulation because the deity is a Naishtika Brahmachari. And the second point, please remember, it's a constitutionally well settled position that temple or mosque is not a public place. Please remember, we cannot overstretch a particular word. Temple belongs to, or masjid or mosque or church belong to the devotees. Devotees may be public, but every public doesn't have a right over a temple or a masjid. So constitution
but
and
the Jama Masjid, Rahul Ishwar, is also a big, it's a heritage site, it's a big tourist spot as well.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of people who come from across the world to come and visit it as a heritage Mughal monument.
Yes, Preeti ji, that's true. Tourism, heritage and things are there. Nobody is denying. But at the soul of it, at the core of it, at the foundational base of it, it's a spiritual place which has some sanctity to it. So the core is spirituality. It is not like a tourist place alone. It is not like a heritage place alone. It's a thriving mosque which has Islamic practices. Similarly, every temple or church, it's a practicing mosque. So we should respect that particular sentiments. Unless
well, you should respect. I would reckon one should respect those sentiments, but not be discriminatory, which these posters were clearly discriminatory. Mr. Abbas, you want to come and make a point? Go ahead, sir.
Yes, firstly, Preeti ji, with all due respect, it was absolutely a wrong attribution that you made towards me. That's an
I will still make it, and I will still make it, and we'll have a conversation later, because otherwise you wouldn't have been a guest tonight.
I never changed my stand.
Sir, if you want to fight with me, then thank you. We will have this conversation offline.
I did not.
Sir, we'll have this conversation offline. You wouldn't have made it to the panel, because you made it to the panel by suggesting that you completely agree with what has gone down in terms of these posters. That is what you agreed to. That's why you are here. But we are glad as a panel that you've decided to change your mind. Zakia Sobhan, I want to... Okay, sir, is there anything else you want to add to it?
Certainly, yes. I'd like to reiterate my point which I made.
Please reiterate.
Which is of this is the place of worship. This is the place of worship where you, beat a girl, a boy, or anybody. It's not a place to make videos and all of that. There are respective places. The places of worship comes with that dignity and decorum. So we need to keep it apart. And with respect to, like I mentioned about Holy Kaaba, that is where every Indian or Muslim need to take siege, where both equally are allowed, the men and the women, to practice. And that has been my stand throughout sacrosanct.
Okay, thank you. We respect your point of view. Zakia, I'll give you the last word on this, because going ahead for somebody, as a collective group who fought for Haji Ali, for women to enter, do you see this at least as a big leap from there on? Because what we are given to understand is this order has been revoked.
Yeah, so if it has been revoked, then it's a welcome development. They have realized that they were not correct in the first place in issuing this order. But I really hope that in future also they would desist from these kind of actions. Not just this one trust, but I'm referring to several other places of religious worship. Because fundamentally the mindset is that these are places, men spaces, and women need to worship from within the four walls of the home. So that's a problematic question. And apart from being a place of worship, Preeti, Jama Masjid is also a historical monument.
Yes.
So any visitor is equally entitled to visit it. Of course, they will all follow the rules. Whatever rules which are acceptable. Rules in a civilized society acceptable by the constitution, they will all be bound by those rules, but they cannot issue such arbitrary diktats and bar this person or that
I've run
person.
terribly out of time, but I appreciate all of you who took the time out and joined us. Well, what we are glad is that this diktat has been taken off. These three posters were plastered on the three main gates of the Jama Masjid. Huge uproar. We believe that this order has been revoked, so a small win where that comes into play. But viewers, when we do talk about orthodoxy, we talk about misogyny, we talk about sexism, we must view it from the prism of, and not be hypocritical about it. If you criticize one, if there is misogyny, sexism or orthodoxy that you see in one particular religion, then you've got to do it for the other as well. You can't pick and choose.